Chapter 2. I know what a dream is, and, well, actually, this was no dream. All right, maybe I was asleep, but it was more real than anything I could have come up with, asleep or awake. At first the pieces were sketchy and fritzy, which is the part I'll take responsibility for. Me and Johnny Walker, which, for the record, was only the second time I'd ever been drunk. The first was a stupid high school thing, which I'm not proud of either. Anyway, I was in a circus tent, dressed up like a clown, complete with big painted grin, those giant floppy feet, and a red rubber ball for a nose. Everybody was laughing. My old teachers, Coach Morrison, Mom, Dad, buddies from high school, even Charlie Reardon from my outfit. Always Charlie Reardon. Everyone sat on the bleachers, yucking it up as Todd Johnson smashed a banana cream pie into my face. And then another, and another. It was all a big, gigantic joke with me as the punchline. And no, Dr. Freud, I don't need anyone to explain to me the symbolism. But then things got interesting. At first I heard the voice, faint, rumbling, like distant thunder. Joseph. I paid no attention. I was too busy chasing Todd around in one of those little clown cars. When I finally got him cornered, I unfolded myself from the car, leaped out, and pulled a giant confetti gun on him. He dropped to his knees, whimpering like a baby, as I prepared to fire. Then I heard it again, louder. Joseph. I looked all over and saw nothing, except the whole audience looking up. I followed their gaze just in time to see a trapeze artist dressed in brilliant white light. He missed the trapeze, and the crowd gasped as he started to fall. But he really didn't fall. He floated toward me. And the closer he got, the brighter his light grew until he was blazing, as bright as the sun, maybe brighter. The crowd disappeared. So did the circus. I was somewhere else, some place so still, so silent, I could only hear my breathing. And the voice that was so loud it thundered like waterfall. Joseph! I've been afraid before. You don't get caught in a firefight without experiencing a little fear, but this was colder, more gut-wrenching than anything I'd ever felt. It was so terrifying I couldn't move. And the light, intense, piercing. His face, what I could see of it, glowed and shimmered with the light. Maybe it was the light. One thing I could tell you, as I looked on, it stopped being the face of a man. It glimmered and morphed into the face of an ox. I shut my eyes and reopened them. Now it was the face of an eagle. Joseph, son of David. The face flickered and changed again, into the face of a lion. Then one last flicker, and it was the face of a man again. As I stared, giant wings unfurled behind him. 10, 15 feet across. They pulsed and shimmered with the same light as the face. I felt my legs turn to rubber, which was okay since now was as good a time as any to drop to my knees. That was the only response a person could have in the presence of so much. Well, there's only one word for it, but what you religious types call glory. It was so powerful I could no longer keep looking. I lowered my head, staring at the ground. The voice continued to roar. Now, it wasn't angry, and it wasn't yelling, just roaring, exploding with power. Do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife. I scowled, trying to keep my head clear, trying to keep from passing out. What is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. The voice came from all around me and inside. It was like every cell in my brain and my whole body vibrated with it. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. He paused. I took a ragged breath and braced for more. But that was it. Nothing more except the terror and glory, which started to fade along with the light. I took another breath, and then another, and finally I found the courage to lift my head, and he was gone. No goodbyes, nothing. 1 minute I was surrounded by blinding light and paralyzed with fear. The next I was lying in bed, catching my breath and staring at the ceiling. When I could move, I rolled over and looked at the alarm. It glowed crimson 2:54. I lay there another minute, maybe 2. When I was sure going back to sleep was impossible, I rolled out of bed and padded down the worn, carpeted stairs. Once in the kitchen, I threw a mug of instant coffee into the microwave. The dream was over, but the words lingered. Take Mary home as your wife. The rest made no sense, but I got that part. I pulled out a kitchen chair and sat. My mind was clear, no headache and no payback with a hangover that should have been my due. Just the words.